we are now currently reaching over like 27 participants, and we will be starting sharp at 8:15. But while waiting for our other friends, let me start with the some reminders, and then introducing myself. My name is Nur Atika Binti Asnan. I am currently a master student, currently doing my master in education by research. I'm currently doing TASO. And for tonight, we have our guest speakers, two guest speakers, Mr. Shahmi Izzuddin. Hi, Shahmi. Hi, Izzuddin. And as well as Dr. Khairul. Hi, Dr. Khairul. Assalamualaikum. Before we formally start, I just want to say thank you so much for your kind support, and also we have this overwhelming participation from all, because the last time I checked 5 minutes ago, we have reached around like 105 student participants registering for this course. So meaning that I believe not all of us are going to be here tonight. However, I believe that many of you are very interested to attending this live, or perhaps wanting to have a look at the video afterwards. And we'll have, for those who couldn't make it tonight, I believe that you really want to be here. And for all participants, once you have done your registration, a copy of recording for the session, inshallah, will be sent to you within 3 days time. So it will be given you a link, and you can download all the videos and enjoy the session and comfortably watch and then analyze the content of the session that we have. Okay, with that, let me share with you. We are going to wait for some more people. One second. Oh, we have 34 participants. I think we are good to go. Are you ready, everyone? Izzuddin, are you ready? Hi, Dr. Khairul. Okay, wait. I need to unmute, guys. Can you see? So, okay. Dr. Khairul, can you talk?
Assalamualaikum.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now it's right. Yeah, and crisp. And how about you, Mr. Izzuddin? How's the connection going there?
Oh, we can't hear you.
I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you. Are you on mute? Izzuddin? Well, these things happens. Alhamdulillah, we are now reaching 36 people. How's the connection over there, Mr. Izzuddin?
Test, can you hear me now?
Yep, clear. You're doing great.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Hi everyone.
Hi again. We don't want to make it really formal, but let's kickstart this session with some dua. So I'm going to formally start the session. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah hadana li hada wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula an hadanallah, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wa mursalin sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Alhamdulillah. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the blessings and mercy that Allah has showered upon us. For it is by His grace and overflowing mercy that we are here, able to meet here tonight, online today. Okay, for this session, I would like to have some reminder. I know that everyone is on mute, but we would love to have you to turn on your webcams and mute your microphones to make the session even livelier and more interactive. And in case you have any question or any inquiries, because I'm going to be moderating the session, but if there any question that pop up to your mind and that you love to ask, you can simply raise up your hand, or you just say that you want to ask question, or simply write down in the box below any ways that make you comfortable and want me to delivering your question straight away, or you want to ask the questions by yourself, please feel free to do so. And so first of all, on behalf of the Korea of Education Student Association, KEPSA, I would like to express our gratitude to everyone for joining us in this session. And we hope that this session will benefit you in every possible way. And this is actually the first program that we have for research upskill series. We're going to have a series of webinar, a seminar mainly on academic sharing that is related to postgraduate studies, research, and all that. And we really love to have your what you call feedback, your input on how can we run the program. So is there any topic that you would love to discuss with us, or you want us to actually share or organize in the future? So just simply share with us in if there's anything that you would love us to do. And before we get started, let me introduce myself once again. I am Miss Atika binti Asnan, and you can call me Atika or Sister Atika. I'm a first year postgraduate student. This is my second semester. I'm currently doing a full-time Master in Education, Master in Full Research. I am a member of KEPSA committee and your moderator for the session. Okay, before we begin, I'm going to introduce our respected and our lively speakers here. We are very honored to have both Dr. Khairul Sufi and Mr. Shahmi Izzuddin. And let me introduce our. I'm going to share some of the information about the speaker, and I would love to have the speaker to share more about themselves. What something that we can share, like maybe something that you can relate with us about yourself. That is something interesting. So about Dr. Khairul Sufi, he is a full-time PhD student specializing in SUFR, or we call CEFR. Dr. Khairul earned his undergraduate degree in English language and literature at IIUM in 2000. Later on, he went to join the PTD service and earned a diploma in public management in 2004 and a master's degree later in the field of strategy and diplomacy in 2008. He then left the service and pursued a career in education, where he joined IIUM as a language teacher in the year 2009. And from there, worked towards getting another master degree, which is in applied linguistics at IIUM in 2017. His master's degree, under the supervision of Associate Professor Dr. Unku Haliza, was in the area of SUFR, CEFR, and that was actually the beginning, the start of his passion for language-related policy. And in year 2020, he pursued his doctoral degree at IIUM's Kuliah of Education under the supervision of Associate Professor Dr. Faisal Idris, and he obtained a PhD in Educational Language Planning and Policy in 2022, just recent. His current research interest is in the area of SUFR and language localization. So that's about him. I love to have a very diverse background about Dr. Khairul Sufi. And before we get to know more about him, let me introduce our next speaker, which is Mr. Izzuddin. Mr. Izzuddin is quite a kind of shy person. He will introduce himself more, but I will briefly introduce him because he is currently working as a teacher, an English teacher in Perak. His full name is Muhammad Shahmi Izzuddin bin Shahriman. He hails from Kuala Nerang, Kedah, and currently teaching English at SMK Alopongsu Perak. He completed his degree of study in TESOL, IIUM, and currently doing his master in education by research also in TESOL. He's very much into music and adventure trips as well as others interests. So to kick start this session, I would love to have our first speaker, which is Dr. Khairul. I mean, I have done the introduction first, but can you is there a little bit more about yourself, and can you explain to us, share with us more about the area of your PhD that you're doing, that you have done? Please welcome Dr. Khairul Sufi.
Okay, thank you very much, Sister Atika. So, first and foremost, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good evening. I think the introduction was done by the introduction done by Sister Atika was very good just now. But if you would like to know, yeah, my name is Khairul bin Sufi. You can call me Khairul. I recently just obtained my PhD in May. My viva was actually in May this year. Also at the Kuliah of Education in IIUM. So apparently IIUM runs in my blood, yeah, from matriculation, first degree, master's, PhD, everything was from IIUM, yeah. I don't know why, but yeah, probably it's the place that was just meant to be. For my PhD, I was attached at the Kuliah of Education under the Department of Language and Literacy. Of course, just like what Sister Atika said just now, that I started off the research on CFR from my master's degree. And from then, I developed a passion for language planning and policy. So I decided to pursue a doctoral degree also in language planning and policy at IIUM, which I think is quite interesting. And it is probably a field that is not very much explored into by students, yeah, at many universities. And in fact, not many universities offer language planning and policy. It's to some people it's a very dry subject, but I like it. It's probably looking into how language develops, or the policy that is involved in making a language a part and parcel of the education system and whatnot. Yeah. So as you all know, that CFR is the latest probably language planning and policy that is happening in the country. I decided to pursue on that, and apparently it was a very interesting field. Yeah. What else, Yatika? I think everything else have been explained by you. Oh, I am also a lecturer at IIUM. I am now on my study leave. I've still got like 8 months left before I have to report duty. But Alhamdulillah, I finished my master's, my PhD before the end of my study leave. So I'm waiting for the Senate letter. And then once I have the Senate letter, then I've got to report duty again at IIUM. So yeah, basically that's it. Right, so on to you, back to you.
That is super interesting, we have in the comments saying that for some Suffer might be dry, but it's pretty much a very interesting part because it's new in Malaysia. And I believe that many of us here also are teachers, and I love the fact that because I read the title of your PhD, like you're localizing the Suffer, and I think it's super interesting, which is super new, and we love to see how it's actually being taught in that way. So because we want to have our identity as Malaysian as well when we adapt the Surfer. So I love having you actually produce the work, and it's super amazing. Mr. That's about the Khairul Sufi. I think I many of us are very interested in Surfer as well, because English teachers education, this is like new to us. And let's move on to the next speaker. Mr. Izzuddin.
Hi. Hi. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, so how are you?
So yeah, I'm good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Dr. Khairul, I forgot to ask about you. How are you doing? You're in flight right now. You're flying somewhere? Are you another?
Yeah, that's probably the other thing that I should say. I've got a passion apart from language planning and policy. My passion is also civil aviation. Yeah. Yeah.
First class.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And you, I mean, like you are still with school and everything. How's your school doing, Mr. Is?
Yeah, so far so good because we just started the examination week, so it was not so busy, but we'll be busy after this with the marking and so on.
Yeah. And about your area of study, can you please actually elaborate to us? Because we know the Khairul is currently doing surfer. And how about you? What's your area of specialization, and what's your interest in the research?
Okay, about my research, it might not sound very intellectual as Dr. Khairul because I'm doing master full research, and I'm doing about the implementation of the visual literacy as a method of teaching English grammar among the students lah. Specifically to the non-urban area, to the rural students, as I'm teaching in rural areas. So I can say that my students, they are very weak in English, though they are Form 4 and Form 5. Some easy words, they couldn't even know what it means.
So perhaps English might be foreign to them, isn't it?
Yeah, very foreign to them.
And currently, I mean, may I know that Mr. Izzuddin, I mean, when did you start your master study actually?
I started my master degree last year. So currently I'm in my third semester. So I further my study in master right after my degree. So I'm quite new. I'm very young now. So still lack of experience. And I'm still learning things.
Inshallah, you're all here for learning, isn't it? So yeah, but this is like for the first session, but I want to share with you, with everyone here, like I remember that we require you to actually do the pre-registration. And I think the purpose of us doing that, because we want to see our prospective participants, and I love to see that we come from diverse background. If I were to share with you, out of all the respondents, we have 105 submitting the form. 85% are currently enrolled as a students, I mean like you're doing your postgraduate study, and others are simply alumni and public, or those who actually have interest to pursue their postgraduate study. And as high as 45% are students from IIUM, and others are students from other university, which is KPJUC, UPM, UTM, UKM, and others public. And about of students, our participant background, we have 40% students, participants who are registered for this one, master students, and 50% PhD students. Others, they just simply the spectator or the potential student who are going to enroll soon, inshallah. And for those who are actually in the area of, I mean, wanting to have their proposal defense, preparing or whatnot, actually, over 40% are preparing for the defense next year, at the end of the year, and over 25% actually preparing for the defense this September, and over 15% actually preparing for the next year proposal defense, and others they are not done, have done the PD, or simply are not related to this question. And we have actually, what I love about this is that many of our participants have addressed the concerns, and I will just read through some of them, so that while we are doing our chit-chatting, we talk academically about this process. As I go through with my own question, maybe our speakers will be able to address some of the concern as well. And most common question that they have actually, they want to know the presentation, the systematic steps in the execution of the proposal defense. So they want to know the formatting. Is there any sequences or is there any style that is needed to make sure that it is an effective presentation? And they also want to know what kind of question are going to be asked by the panels, and how long does it take for the defense? What are the examiner's requirements needed to be fulfilled? How and what to write on the slides, and then how to do well in the research defense, and how to reply to the criticism to the proposal, and how to prepare a good and quality presentation, as well as how to make corrections, how do you approach the criticism from the panels, and what is the most important tips that should be considered in the defense. So these are actually the most common concern that they have. And I believe if every university, they have like different way of like doing their proposal defense. And tonight I'm going to start how IIUM doing it. How does it goes in our university, and maybe for those who are from the other university, they can relate and connecting all the information and adapting this kind of sharing into their own preparation, inshallah. Okay, with that, I'm going to proceed with my first question. So I will first ask to pose my question to Dr. Khairul Sufi. How do you prepare yourself before, during, and after the proposal defense? So can you share with us how the journey goes, like when in your experience? Okay. The floor is yours.
All right. Wait, hold on. Can you hear my cat meowing? It's okay.
Is it a fly?
She's jealous that I'm on camera and she's not. Okay, all right. So thank you, Sister Atika. I remember you sent me this question. So what I did was that, I hope you don't mind, I prepared a very short PowerPoint slide in case I forget. So I've actually put down the points. So what I actually experienced before, during, and after the proposal defense. So I'd just like to share this with you. Is it okay? I'm just going to take like about 5 minutes of your time.
Sure, we love to. We love to.
So don't worry about that, yeah? Let me just share my screen. Oh, you disabled the screen sharing.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's my bad. How to do that? Okay, hang on a second.
Tika, if you can't do it, it's fine. I'll just read it out lah, tak apa. It's okay, no problem.
Tapi kalau you share lagi bagus, wait. We didn't. This is new to me. Let me try to figure it out. How to disable this? Wait, hang on a second. Just allow to remove sport or screen sharing. Multiple party. Okay, can you do that?
Okay, let me try again, yeah. All right, I got it. Okay, just give me a sec. This is just going to be I'm just going to share my screen first. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, sure, clear.
Okay, yeah. So this is something that I've actually put together, yeah, because I remember you asking me what to do before, during, and after. And apparently this was actually gathered based on my experience. So I'm not saying that I had a very good proposal defense. So I'm not saying that it's excellent, but I survived the proposal defense. And for your information, my proposal defense was almost like a mini Viva. I had an internal examiner, which was from IIUM, from the Kuliah of Education. I had an external examiner, associate professor from UKM. And I can tell you that my proposal defense was almost like a Viva. I almost killed myself during the proposal defense. Yeah, it was only a proposal defense, but I didn't think that would be so challenging to the extent that it felt like a Viva already. Yeah? So here in IIUM, not sure about other universities, for our proposal defense, we do have internal examiners. We also have external examiners, yeah. So which means it's not just from within the university, it's also from outside of the university. And also for the PhD level, the proposal defense is public. So I had 15 people, apart from the internal, external, I also had 15 people watching me doing the proposal defense, and some of them are here. with us today. For instance, Sister Ardini, I can see you somewhere just now. So she was there doing my proposal defense. So she can actually vouch for how tough it was. But yeah, I survived. Yeah. Anyways, so
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Before the proposal defense, yeah. Now, what I'd like to tell everyone is that you have to know your proposal inside out, which means you have to know cover to cover, word by word, page to page. This is no joke. Yeah, you have to know where everything is. I'm not saying that, for instance, if the examiner says, okay, let's talk about your research problem, and then you go like, oh, okay, it's on page number 6. No, but you have to know. You have to know where to identify. For instance, the examiner asks you a question concerning the methodology. You have to know where it is. You have to know if he or she says something, you have to know where it's at. So for instance, it talks about, okay, I read somewhere that you said something that CEFR is actually not very much favored by people outside of Europe. So I know it's in my literature review. So I go to my literature review. I have to know that, okay? You have to know that. That's the first thing. Second thing is that you have to anticipate questions from the examiners. Yeah. So this is also something that I have actually done. I anticipate questions from my examiners. The questions that I anticipated were also the questions that were asked by my examiners. Yeah. So what were the questions that I anticipated? Number one is the problem statement. Yeah, they will always ask you about the problem statement. Why? Because the proposal defense is trying to know what your problem is in the research. Yeah, it's not about how well you do it. It's not about how thick your proposal is, but it's what is the problem that you would want to look into, and what's the problem that you would want to find the answers to. Okay, so also anticipate the questions. Yeah, number one was the problem statement. I also anticipated questions from the literature review. Especially about the theoretical framework. Yeah. All right. Trust me, almost all proposal defenses that I have been to, they will always ask you about your theoretical framework, your conceptual or either your theoretical framework. So you have to also know about your theories very, very well. Yeah. The third thing before you go for your proposal defense is you have to prepare your PowerPoint slides effectively. Now, what I'm showing you right now, what you're seeing right now is exactly what was being presented during my proposal defense. So it was not full of words. Yeah, there were only like short sentences like this. Yeah. All right, so of course, yeah, I had like 35 or 36 slides, and in IIUM, our proposal defense is only 20 minutes. I managed to finish everything within that 20 minutes because everything was just like this, yeah? So there were no long passages, there were no long words, there were no paragraphs, no nothing, where everything was just in bullets, in points, yeah? You have to, this is probably one of the most effective way of how you can actually prepare your PowerPoint slides. Yeah. Next, rehearse your proposal defense. So this is a very important thing also. Why? Because number one, you have to show the mastery of the subject. Yeah, the mastery of the research, the mastery of the subject. You also have to be within the time limit. Yeah. So always rehearse your proposal defense. And finally, relax. You know, days before the session, do not worry and fret that, oh my God, tomorrow is my proposal defense. Of course, we all feel that. But just try to relax. Yeah. So on the day, yeah, my proposal defense was on Friday. On Thursday, I was out with friends, you know, just having a good time. Yeah. So nothing to worry about. Yeah. Proposal defense is just the next day. All right. So this is what I did before. Now, during the proposal defense, always have with you pen and paper or anything that you can write on. You have to be quite confident. Now, listen to the critics. Yeah, you're going to have to listen to a lot of critics and you have to be very open about it. Yeah, they're not there to criticize you. They're there to ensure that your research becomes better. Yeah, we think that we have done a good job, but you know, when you have a second or third pair of eyes, people would actually see something that you don't see. And this is actually what happened in my proposal defense also. Yeah, so something that my supervisor and I did not think of, and was actually brought in the proposal defense, and we said, yeah, that's a good idea. So we actually took that in. Yeah, so listen to the critics very, very well. Fourth, most important, yeah, I think one of the questions actually asked this, yeah, what to do or how do you respond to critics, yeah. So I would say you defend, but you do not argue. In Malay, we say kita jawab soalan, but jangan menjawab. There's a difference between menjawab and jawab soalan, right? Okay, so if, say for instance, there are instances where, you know, your examiners, yeah, would ask you a question and you would want to be very defensive. You know? It's called proposal defense, so you're defensive at the same time. You want to be defensive, but you also have to remember that they are the experts. Yeah, they've done this many, many times. Some of them are towards the end of their careers already, so they know this. The subject matters very, very. They know the subject matter very, very well. If they ask you a question, for you to defend in a way where you think that you're answering the question, but you're not trying to prove a point. There's a difference there. You know, when you try prove a point for when you become defensive, right? When you become defensive in a proposal defense, things will get much worse. Yeah, things will get much worse. So you have to understand, yeah, you can defend, but you do not argue unless, of course, yeah, there are things that you do not agree, and then you can just say it politely, saying that yes, okay, I do understand that, but I do not agree. Is it possible? See, there's a difference there. Is it possible if you do it this and this and this way? Yeah, because I remember, yeah, during my proposal defense, the external examiner, yeah, from UKM, he was also a CFR expert. He was not happy with the theory that I used. But then, you know, you negotiate, because apparently what I was trying to do was not an assessment-based paper. I was doing language planning and policy. So of course I'll be using a theory on language planning and policy. It's absurd if you do an LPP paper and you use an assessment theory. It doesn't gel, right? So I had no problems for the internal examiner. For the external examiner was a bit unhappy with the theoretical framework, but I managed to defend myself. In the end, we settled on the theory that we use, right? Of course, take notes and ask questions, or you can ask questions if you don't understand anything, or you can also ask for clarification. Okay, so this is during the defense. Now, after defense, of course, when I did the proposal defense, everything was online. Now I think people are going back to normal. So always obtain the recording to listen to what happened, things that were discussed. There are things that you might have missed. Yeah, so try to get the recording. If there is a recording, obtain the written report also. So what happens in UIA is that once we have finished our proposal defense, the written report from the internal and the external examiner would go to the postgraduate office. The postgraduate office would pass it to our supervisor, all right, and the supervisor would pass it to you, okay? Now, once you have obtained the report, you have to actually scrutinize the report exhaustively with the supervisor. All right, now this is going to be the challenging part. There are things which you might not agree. There are things that you might agree with. It's best that you discuss this with your supervisor. Yeah, you have to sit down with your supervisor and discuss what needs to be changed, what needs to be amended. If she or he's happy with the recommendation, then you can follow it. If you're not happy with it, then of course you can skip it. Right? Remember, it's just there as a way for them to ensure that your proposal becomes better. Okay, and then finally you make the necessary revision. So just my final word of advice. Yeah. For your proposal defense, always work closely with your supervisor. Okay, remember that, of course, it's your research and you're the one on the battlefield, but always work closely with the supervisor, because he or she, you know, they have been through this before, and this is probably our first or second time going through the proposal defense. So try to ask if there are things that you need clarification from your supervisor before you go for your defense, whatnot. Always work closely with your supervisor, and do not leave your supervisor out of the picture. Okay, all right, Statica. So I hope I have managed to answer the question. Yeah, so it's before, during, and after.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that you say that menjawab soalan but not menjawab, meaning that we want to be polite as possible, and we want to make sure that we are respecting the question and not become defensive, which is, I think, you know, first time to become defensive. We want to be protective, but somehow the tone that we use during the proposal might sound defensive. So that's a very good what you call that, advice for us. And another thing is that that I got from your content is that you have to really, you are the master of your research, so you have to master your content thoroughly. Am I right? Meaning that, you know, back to back, every single word you put there should be something that you understood.
Yes, yes. And also you also have to understand in the proposal defense, because it's called a proposal. So anything you put in the proposal defense, you are liable for it. Okay, so it goes to the examiners and they will ask you questions. Why are you using this? What is your justification? So you have to know, you can use anything. For instance, say you want to use any theory, for instance, that you feel is right. We can use any theory, but you have to remember that you have to justify why you do something. So if you're going to do mixed methods, justify why is it mixed methods. If it's qualitative, justify why it's qualitative. You've always got a question for everything you do in your proposal defense. Of course, this is for a PhD level, yeah? It's for a PhD level,
yeah? But the fact that for us, for me, I'm preparing for my master. I mean, we want to know how tough, like, you want to know how extensive it is. I mean, like, if you perhaps you do like you do a lot more, then that is okay, rather than you do less. Perhaps, you know, you want to safeguard yourself. So having used explaining it through the PhD perspective is very, very useful for us for doing master. So that is at least the bar that we have to achieve. We know that we're not as extensive as the PhD, but we know that we have to go there, like making sure that they know that we are serious, that we do, and we like, so that know what we are writing. And with that, we want to thank you, Dr. Khairul, for very extensive. I feel like I was like in the section with you, preparing for it straight away, and it's elaborative. And thank you for the slides. Let's ask about the experience from our friends in a master study. I mean, the master study and PhD study is slightly different. I know the extensive, how it goes, the panel, I mean the slides. By the way, Dr. Khairul, is there any special requirement that you need to have? Because you told us that you were given like 20 minutes for your time, for your proposal defense. And how about the number of slides? Is there any like significant amount of slides that you have to prepare, or any certain format that we have to follow at IIUM?
No, there's no certain format they have to follow, but probably a word of advice is that you follow, like for instance, you have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and that's how you build the presentation for proposal defense. So chapter 1, your problem statement and your SOP, research questions, research objectives, and chapter 2 is just a bit on the literature review. Literature review should be about 3 to 5 pages only. Of course, when I did mine, it was about 2 to 3 pages only, but of course, it's got to be in blocks, yeah, in points, yeah. Also, what I learned from the proposal defense is that when you do the literature review, the examiners expect to see the keywords in your title in your literature review. Yeah. All right. So that's something that we anticipated. Yeah. And it was true. Yeah. I was asked. So my title was localization of the CFR written production illustrated skill to nation higher education context. So he wanted to know, he wanted to see literature on localization, higher education, written production, writing, Malaysian context, Malaysian education, everything was covered, right? So yeah, that's the most important thing also, right? So that's the literature review. And of course, the methodology is probably the part that they will scrutinize the most. And this is the part when you go like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. I am going to fail. Yeah, that's what you tell yourself about. Of course, it's all just critiques, yeah.
May I ask a question?
Yes, Azhar.
Sure.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Khairul. Congratulations for your PhD, and thank you, CAPSA, for organizing this webinar. I have two questions to Dr. Khairul. The first question is, did you have the same external and internal examiners for both your proposal defense and your viva? My second question, when you mentioned about the correction that you have to do for your proposal defense, after that, would they check? I mean, they could be the examiners, the supervisors check whether you have made all the changes suggested during your proposal. Is there any, this is the sub question, is there any correction that you purposely do not want to do because you don't agree with their suggestion? Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Yeah.
Salam. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you don't mind just taking a bit more of your time. Yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you. Okay. So the answer, Kak Azhar's question. Okay. For the proposal defense, the internal and external with the viva are two different sets. Yeah. They're two different sets of people. Okay. So it was not the same people. But it is not wrong for you to have your internal and external for the proposal defense, also as the internal and external of your viva. It's not wrong. But for my case, I had two different sets. So the internal and external for the proposal defense was different from the internal and external from the actual viva Busi. Okay, the second question was about
the correction.
The corrections, yeah. All right, yeah. Yes, yeah. For the proposal defense, there was a correction that both my supervisor and I did not agree upon, which was research question number 1. He wanted us to change the research question number 1. Okay. Apparently, this was from the external examiner, external examiner from UKM. All right, from UKM, and then the external examiner was a bit unhappy with the first research question. I had no problem with the internal examiner. Okay, so he wanted us to change the research question, but the repercussion of changing the research question would change the research methodology. All right. So of course, after the proposal defense, when we receive the report, there are instances where you can go like, okay, if I change the research question to what the external or the internal examiner wants, it changes my research or it changes the direction of my research, of course you can ignore it. But you have to remember that if the same question comes out in your viva, you will have to justify why is it that this is the research question and it's not another way, for instance. Because for my case, the external wanted me to do a mixed method, right, instead of full qualitative research. But it's language planning and policy. You can't really do mixed methods for language planning and policy. So that was my justification. Yeah. So it's there are instances where you do not agree with what either the internal or external says, and you can ignore it. Of course, with permission from your supervisor. Okay. Right now, once you have done the correction for your proposal, you have to show it to your supervisor. And then once he or she approves of your correction, then you can start conducting your research. But you do not have to submit it to the faculty anymore because it's now between you and your supervisor, right? So the internal and external does not want to know what happens. He wants to know that, no, this is what I have suggested, and it's for you to either accept it or not to accept it. So I hope I have answered your question, Sister Raza.
Thank you so much, Dr. Khairul.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for the first question. So moving on to the second speaker, that Dr. Inshallah Amin, is Izzuddin. Am I clear? Alhamdulillah. So that is for PhD. And how was your experience for the master? Yes.
There's a question in the chat box.
Oh yeah, I have there's a question. Thank you, Sister Naziha. I think I missed that. I think I can pose this question to both of you. Perhaps Mr. Izzuddin or Dr. Khairul want to answer it. I have a question this is from Mr. Amirullah Akmal. Is it possible for us to get lost or sidetracked during proposal defense, and how to recover from it? Both of you, anyone would like to answer? What happens like?
Yes, you can answer the question.
Okay, so far I think to get lost or sidetracked during proposal defense is it's normal to get lost somewhere during you are writing your proposal and so on. So I think the best solution to recover from it is by talking to your supervisor and go back to your proposal, get into it, your literature review and so on, to get better with your proposal before you start to defend it. And like what Dr. Khairul has mentioned, be close to your supervisor. So always be close to your supervisor.
Good. How about you? What's your take this one? What's your take for this one?
It's like what he said just now. It's possible. It's always possible to get sidetracked or lost during proposal defense, especially if we're passionate talking about something. Yeah. How do you know that you have actually gone sidelined? You know that you're not finishing your slides in time. Then you know that you have actually gone sidelined, or you have actually gone astray from the actual direction of your proposal defense. So how do you make sure that you stick to it? To me, the most important thing are the slides, because it's between you and the slides right now when you're doing your proposal defense. Yeah, your supervisor can't say a thing, and people around you will not be able to say anything. So it's best that you stick to what is on the slides only. What's in the slides, what you have included in the slides, just stick to that also, or just stick to that only. Yeah, of course, if there are questions from the examiners, then you can ask. But going sideline is extremely possible, especially if you talk about something that you want to say a lot about, especially the methodology, the literature review. But for you out there, always remember, when you're doing your proposal defense, the examiners have read your proposal already, okay? They just want to listen to your proposal defense to validate that this is your research. It's not that they would really want to see your presentation skills or you want to see how well you do your presentation slides. No, okay? They have read it. They have gone from cover to cover already, but they want to see how well you understand your research. All right.
Okay, cool. So thank you for the question and thank you for the answer. And to you, finally, Mr. Izzuddin. I mean, that was the master or the PhD study. And how about you in the master during your for your master? Is there any distinctive differences in how you go through the process before, during, and after? I mean, uh, I forgot to ask. I mean, also, can you tell us how long does it take before you got the date, the call that you have before actually preparing for your proposal? And proposal defense.
Okay,
Specifically
so
on.
before I go explaining I can say about my experience lah. I can say this is more like sharing since I just settled my defense 3 weeks ago in the end of July.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, so this is
It's
very
fresh.
so new and so fresh to me. So and regarding my research actually, before I'm doing like I mentioned just now about visual literacy in teaching English, I think the most important thing when you are doing research is try to choose a topic that is very close to you, not by mentioning by others or what, or just mention what is so close to you. And before this, during my degree years, I was in the multimedia bureau for several years, for 3 years, and also I was the CAPSA multimedia bureau for the last tenure. So designing was quite of my passion before. And before I become a teacher, I doing a freelance job. I can say a freelance job together with another 2 of my friends. We are designing slides during the online learning, special for teachers, for lecturers. So, you know, the design to make the slides not too lame, not too boring, and to attract students. Because I can notice something. I was a teacher before, a part-time teacher, and I can see that students enjoyed my class, not with, I don't think not because of my teaching. I'm inexperienced, but I noticed that they are very focused on the images, on the pictures, on the colors, and so on. So that's why I'm choosing to use a visual to teach English grammar, special for the rural area students. And regarding my defense, I submitted my proposal last February, and I received a call from the university telling about my defense few days before the defense date. So I just have several days to prepare it, but somehow I've waited for several months. Yeah, so I have to restudy about my proposal. I have to restudy everything that I wrote from cover to cover, and then doing slides. So as for my preparation, what I did is I asked a lot. I asked my supervisor about my research question, research objective, and so on. And as well as I also asked lots of friends, because somehow I think that a lot of people, they have different view. Though this is my topic, this is your topic, other people also, they have their own view, especially when I'm doing for teaching. So I'm asking my friends who are doing master as well, who are part-time teachers, and also I'm asking some of my colleague, the English teacher, the experienced one, what if I'm doing it? Do you think that the students, and they will give me suggestion. Oh no, I think students suka macam ni, student like it like this, they love cartoon, they love icons, and so on. So they give me more idea. And as I say, I was the multimedia bureau, and before I design slides, I design poster, banner, and so on. But I'm not a designer student before, so there are still a lot of things that I don't know, like the colors and so on. What should I use? What should I do? Before this, I just design based on my eyes. Oh, ini dah cantik. This is beautiful enough. So okay, good. Then I learned more. And I have several friends who is a designer. So I asked them, I asked for their comment, and they comment like, oh, you cannot use this color and so on. So I think when you are doing your own research, you are not the only one who are expert in this. There are a lot of people, maybe just they are not doing kind of master. So ask for them. And I'm sorry, I didn't prepare any slides like Dr. Khairul. So I'm just telling you, I'm just sharing you. And
it's a sharing session. It's okay.
yeah. So that was before my defense. And I'm doing PowerPoint slides. As Dr. Khairul mentioned, it is very important to have slides, and don't write everything. Don't write everything that you think, oh, this point is important, and this is the explanation and so on, and you put everything. Your PowerPoint is not a novel. It's not your thesis.
Oh.
So make it point. I've given a talk last year, kind of webinar by CAPSA about designing PowerPoint, how to design PowerPoint. So based on the name itself, most people misunderstood it. PowerPoint, which means you just give it points that is powerful. That's all.
Love that.
Then you explain by yourself. Okay. And during the defense, during the presentation, I was given a very short of time for only 15 minutes. And
yes.
I have numbers of slides, numbers of pages. So first, during the defense, don't read everything. Like Dr. Khairul mentioned, the examiners, they read your proposal from cover to cover, everything. They just want to look at you. They just want to listen to you. Do you really understand your topic? Do you really understand it or not? And as it was given only 15 minutes, you have a lot of things you put in your proposal. Don't read everything. Just read the main point. Just give some simple explanation, and the most powerful explanation itself is based on your literature review. Who said that? By who? You can mention it in your slides. Make it very simple, make it very clear, so they can just look at them and they don't have to go on and read it. They understand your already. And as it is quite numbers, you've wrote a lot. Don't go too fast, even though the time is 15 minutes. Go slowly, but not too slow. It shows that you are confident and you don't rush things. Okay. And when it comes to the Q&A questions, when the examiner asks you, answer it calmly. Not menjawab macam Dr. Khairul cakap, not menjawab. Jawab, answer it very calmly, very slowly. If you don't understand, in my case before, the examiner asked me question and I don't really get what she asked. So ask for clarification if you don't understand the question, because you might answer it wrong. And to do your defense, you need to prepare yourself very well. You need to know what you have wrote in your proposal, everything you need to know. You need to be prepared. So if you were being asked, answer it. But somehow, this is what I've listened to a lecturer before. Even though you are doing this research, this is your topic, you are not master in it. So some questions you might not have the answer, and don't go by just answer it to show that I know everything. You didn't know everything about your research. So if you don't know your research, just go with I'm sorry, I will dig it more. I will do more on reading. I will discuss with my supervisor, and I will have the answer in future. I will come up with the answer. Be honest. Somehow the examiner, when they ask you question, they already know the answer. They just want to look at you. How are you going to answer it? So if you don't know, just be honest, because I think that honesty is a courage. Yeah. Okay. And try to design your slides not to be very some people want to wow the examiner. You put everything. No, just make it simple. The difference between defense and presentations is not like it's not like the degrees presentation. You want to wow people. No, this is more professional. So make it simple yet beautiful. If you want to put some icon, if you want to put some images, make sure that it is helpful. And I like Dr. Khairul's slides just now. It is very simple. Sorry. No, the slide is very simple yet it is cheerful with the emoji, with the cartoon, with the so on, and that is helpful. So people don't have to read apa benda ni. So okay, that shows you the idea. And during the presentation, don't make it silly. Don't make it very fun or something like very santai that you can be play off. Be very professional. Yeah, kind of that. And after the presentation, there will be comments from the examiner. And I receive comments that I never think about it. And it is very like, how to say it? Macam mana nak cakap dia macam, lah. Why didn't I think of it? It is very simple. That's why I said.
The moment.
Yeah. It's not, you know everything. And other people's opinion, comments is helpful. If you don't argue with the examiner. If you have different points, different view, like Dr. Khairul said, by doing the mixed method and so on, you have the clarification. Why are you doing that? Tell them calmly, slowly, explain it. Don't argue them. And yeah, after that, I received a lot of comments to change from my proposal. I have Alhamdulillah, I have minor changes. So I've consulted with my lecturers. I don't know even this, but I even asked the examiner about their point of view. And from my need, then I jot down, prepare your pen, like Dr. Khairul said, write it everything, and yeah, you are good to go to the next phase. Correct it and do the next step. Okay.
Lovely. You said that you have like a few days of preparation, yet with that little amount of time, you only have minor correction. I think that's impressive. Imagine that you were Alhamdulillah. So imagine that if you were given more time, I think without correction perhaps. But I think correction is something that is we anticipate, isn't it? You always there because research is not perfect. I mean, it's a work in progress. So many of us might think that to have correction is like a shame, or like something, oh, I'm a failure or not. But when you share about it, I think it's normal. That is something that we want to get from the defense, right? And how about your time? How much time were you given for the defense, Mr. Izzuddin?
I was given 15 minutes only to present it.
20 minutes for PhD and 15 minutes for master.
Yeah,
I see. How was it conducted actually? Is it an open session where everyone can attend your proposal defense? Is it online? Like, how was the setting at that time? Can you both share? But the setting itself, do you have the same kind of environment?
From the previous defense, it was closed, just between me, my supervisor, and 2 examiners. Just the 4 of us.
Two examiners meaning both are internal examiners, or we have like from the outside as well?
The last time was
from external examiners.
Yeah, 2 of them are internal from IIUM.
Yes, from the Kuliah of Education, or like
from the Kuliah of Education. One of them specializing in IT, because I'm doing a part of the IT stuff and so on. Yeah. So I received like 2 different kind of comments. One comment is about the IT. So he comments, why not you are doing this? And the other examiners she's a TESOL lecturer, Prof. Ainul. So Prof. Ainul give more like her view in teaching. So
I love that. Let's see. So alhamdulillah. And how about you, Dr. Khairul? Well, how was the setting actually? Was it an open session?
It was an open session. 15 people came to watch the proposal defense. Yeah.
The performance.
Yeah, so we had the CPF, we had the postgraduate office, and then there was the external examiner from UKM, and then we had the internal examiner, then we had the supervisor, and then there was me, myself, and 15 other people watching me. So it was open.
Online or on the site? I mean, like, are they online or like they are in
online,
the call?
online. In fact, they were even asking, they were even asked whether they had any questions to ask.
I see.
But apparently they didn't ask any questions, thank God. But yeah, it was an open session. But I think, Tika, I think it's good for you to have an open session because it builds your confidence. Yeah. It's too bad that Izzuddin did not have he was not given the opportunity to have an open session. But personally, I felt that it became more challenging, when it's an open session, because if it's a closed session, of course, it's between you and the examiners, which is good, but if it's an open session, people would learn from you also. All right, so yeah, that's a good thing about it. It's not good for me. It's good for other people, so they will actually learn how the proposal defense goes on, or what happens during the proposal defense. So they will actually learn of what actually happens during that time. And I would say it was an opportunity for those who attended it, because it's not very easy to be admitted into a proposal defense. Definitely not Viva, but proposal defense. It's actually a
huge thing.
Session. Yeah, it's almost like a mini Viva already. Yeah.
Love that. I think, and then some of the point from Mr. Izzuddin that I love to highlight is that you have to be very, very, very particular on what you put on slide. I mean, the color code, the writing, the style of the writing, the fonts. I think you don't have to be an expert in actually doing a PowerPoint presentation, but make sure that everything is visible, clean, and crisp, because visual is everything, right? So as you said, I think many of us might miss that point, meaning to not to present it professionally or be repeating too much.
I would like to add something. Yeah, if you are about to design slides, I would like to suggest that you search your slides template. Not doing it from you don't have to do it from scratch, from zero. You can Google Slides Go from the Google, and there will be a lot of templates. So you try to you can search for master defense or colloquium or something. They will show you several slides, and I think it looks professional enough. So you just add in your points.
I see. And may I ask another question? Because I know that from the sharing, the Khairul was doing full qualitative. And how about your studying? Which do you like? Which years?
Before, in my proposal, I proposed to do mixed method. My idea is to first to do the quantitative. I want to look at the students, either they can understand what they've been teaching. So the idea is actually I'm doing experimental. So from the experimental, it's like I'm testing two different groups. One group will learn a topic and a topic of grammar by using a poster that I've designed, and another group will learn the same topic but with traditional method. So then they will have a kind of quiz, the same quiz to look at on the time. Are they can answer it fast enough? Does it helpful to them? Then from there, I will interview them to get the insight. But then what the examiner comment on me first, she said that alhamdulillah, she's very happy with the topic, but it was like it's too deep. Dia kata, why not you just go with the qualitative? Why not you just ask them about this? So that point is that, why didn't I think of that? I was too serious before. I was too serious during my proposal writing, that I think that I'm doing like to be very, very deep in this topic. Yeah. But
as you're doing PhD.
Yeah, that's what she told me. She said that this is like a PhD topic, and if you want to do this, it might take you 2 years. So
Wow.
then
Cool.
then before this, I thought of doing the experiment or just one time. I asking them to learn and do the quiz. So by then, what Prof. Ainul comments on me is that if you want to do this, you cannot have only one session. You have to have several sessions for several months. Then you can know the result. It cannot be within one times. So I was like, oh, I see. Yeah. So then I learned new things there.
So our friend here, Miss Ardini Zalika said, maybe you can do that for your PhD, brother Izzuddin.
Alhamdulillah, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah. So nampak tak hint ni tu. So maybe like you hint with the mindset of doing a PhD, like that's the bar that you set for yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
that's great. I think. I mean, at least when you want to do your PhD later, like it's not as hard as you anticipated.
Inshallah.
Isn't it?
And you miscalled me Dr. Is several times. I think Amin.
Amin, inshallah.
Pray for me.
Amin, inshallah. Okay, moving on to the next question. I mean, this is a very chill out session, meaning that we just like hang out and then talk about it. I mean, that's how I love about the session. Very chill, not very serious, but and I love that we have a lot of questions throughout. So moving on to the second question, to Khairul. Is there any particular memorable or meaningful moment in the PD session that you remember very well?
Okay.
Share with us.
Yes, there were many memorable moments. Yeah. Number one, yeah. After I finished my proposal defense, after I finished my presentation, my proposal presentation, the examiner actually said that okay, he called me. This is how he spoke to me. Brother Khairul. That's how he actually spoke to me. So it was kind of scary, right? He said that number one, he said that my problem statement was very clear. And he said it's very hard for students to get the problem statement clear. So I remembered that very, very well. Yeah, because he said that, students do not really know how to write the problem statement, but your problem statement is very clear. I remembered that. And I said to myself, oh, this is going to be a wonderful session. And then he said, secondly, your topic on CFR is very commended. You're going to be a very important person in Ministry of Education later on. He said that, right? And I was like, okay, alhamdulillah. This is from the examiner. And then came the proposal defense. And
by the way, when we talk about sorry, when you talk about the problem statement, sorry, may I add? With one of my lecturer, she also said that when I saw her and then they talked about the proposal defense, this is one sentence that she told me. Please refer to Brother Khairul. He has written the best problem statement that you have to learn from him. Can you please celebrate on that? Because I think that is an awesome stuff. When I didn't even know at that time when he said he had the best problem statement, and I was like, oh my goodness. Share with us, elaborate more about that. How do you do that? And yeah.
Okay, for you to come up with a problem statement, it's important. From what I said just now, it's important for you to know what you want to research on. So my gripe, with CFR, of course, I'm not against CFR. It's just that I'm very critical of CFR. I think it's a very good framework, and a lot of people have embraced it. But my gripe with CFR in the Malaysian education system, especially in higher education, for primary and for secondary education, there's not much to say because they're controlled by the Ministry of Education. But for us here at higher education, everything is controlled by the university itself. So it's autonomous in nature. Now, we've got 21 public universities, I said to myself, we've got 21 public universities. And for those of you who are conversant with CFR, you know that it is an open system. It's an open framework, so which means that what I understand from CFR might be different from what is understood from CFR. It's just one statement, can write a report very well. What does that mean, okay? But and then I said to myself, okay, this is not fair. Okay, if we're going to be measuring people, or if we're going to be measuring the proficiency of what students can do at the end of the course, My interpretation of CFR might be different from the interpretation of people from UiTM, for instance, right? Or for the lecturers from UTM, from UKM, whatnot, yeah? It might be different. And true enough, when I was doing a Google search, I discovered one university, one public university in Malaysia, they have actually come up with their own version of the CFR descriptor for writing, yeah? Now, that version of the CFR descriptor does not concur with what we are doing at IIUM. All right, now we're like, okay, so I'm thinking is correct. Yeah. Now, there are two different interpretations of CFR right now. Now, for instance, that university, they actually recognize students at level A1, right? In IIUM, for instance, we do not recognize students at A1 at that time, right? And then I said to myself, okay, so what is the problem? Right, so that's how it came with the problem statement. You have to mull over it. What is it that you want to research about? So at the end of the day, I said to myself, okay, the problem right now is that we have to come up with a localized version of the CFR. Right, so that's my topic: localization of the written productions, the CFR written production illustrative skill to the Malaysian higher education context. Now, for you to write the problem statement, you have to come and relate, yeah, how you came up, what the problem is, what you think the problem is. Not to say what you think, of course, it's got to be backed with literature, but for you to come up with a good problem statement, it has to concur, number one, with your research topic. Okay, it has to be aligned to your research topic. So when I talk about localization of written production, why is it that the CFR needs to be localized, right? And then you find, yeah, literature from, so you find support from literature saying that, for instance, okay, there are literature from the West, for instance, from Europe, saying that even they are localizing CFR based on their own context, right? So it's an alignment from topic to your problem statement to your research questions. If it's all aligned, and then you can come up with a proper problem statement. That's the most important thing, yeah? Now, the problem with a lot of problem statement is that it's not a problem. All right, it's not a problem, right? When students come up with problem statement, it's actually coming up with suggestions, yeah? So a bad problem statement would be something like, okay, the problem of the research is, number one, people like to use American English. So what? So that, okay. For instance, you want to talk about British English and American English, then. So problem statement, people are more interested in American American English. So why? What's the problem? So if they're interested, what's the problem? Right? But you have to go deeper than that. Yeah, you have to go deeper. You have to go to why you are conducting this research, and then you will get your problem statement. Right, it's probably a whole session on its own, yeah, but I'm just saying it briefly how I came up with my problem statement, and I made sure that my problem statement actually answered the title. Yeah, it did not really answer that. Not to say that it was the title was a question, but when you look into the title, when you look into the problem statement, you go like, okay, all right, now I see what the problem is. Why he's coming up with this research is because he thinks that it's this and this and this. Of course, it's what you feel, number one, all right, but what you feel has to be supported with what other people feel about it too. Okay, so you think that CFR, if I thought that CFR was not good, and I'm the only person in the world who thinks that CFR is not good, how am I supposed to conduct the research, right? Of course, you've got to back your problem statement with support from relevant literature. Okay, Atika. Now, I forgot what was the question actually.
What was the memorable moment? I mean, you said that one of it
moment, yeah?
was the problem statement, right? So problem statement was said as the best one. So
yeah. And then was
what the other one?
For the research, yeah. The professor, he said that this is a very good research. Yeah, it was said that this is a research that you're very brave to do a research like this. I'm rocking the boat, he said, yeah, because here in Malaysia, when we talk about the educational system, it's really top to bottom, right? Okay, so we have from top, from the government, from the ministry, it goes all the way down. But I'm trying to reverse that. So he said that was very brave. That was the most memorable moment. Yeah. All right. However, all right, when the proposal defense came, that was another story. Okay, because I was not to say criticized, but I was yeah, I would like to say the word criticize. I was criticized on
challenging.
Yeah, it became challenging. Yeah, it became challenging. I was criticized on, for instance, I remember, for instance, a research question. So if you're trying to localize the CFR, why is it that you're doing qualitative research? Why aren't you doing mixed methods, for instance? Yeah. Okay, those were the things. So it came. So it was a roller coaster of a journey. It was like first you're at the top, you felt so good about yourself, and all of a sudden you go like, oh my God, I am going to fail this proposal defense. I am going to die. Yeah, so I just kept my cool. Yeah, it was 1 hour, 1 hour, yeah, of being grilled by the internal and external. Yeah.
1 hour, that's a long
Yes, yeah,
time.
a 1 hour proposal defense, yeah. And then, of course, yeah, during the proposal defense, it's like Brother A said just now, what you have to do is that you have to just answer, you have to justify, you have to clarify, you have to give your reasons why you have actually done so. So I justified, of course, some of the things that he did not agree with, but it's okay because I would like, all right, I'll take your point into consideration. I'll discuss with my supervisor and see whether we will do anything possible, or then anything possible can be done about it. All right. Okay. So at the end, yeah, of the probably about 45 minutes of being grilled by these people, I said to myself, that's it. I'm going to fail my proposal defense. That's it. That's it. That's it. I'm done. No more. I'm going to quit. That's what I said to myself. And then I got the result. Khairul, you passed with minor corrections. All right. And then, yeah,
Wow.
the next memorable, yes, yeah, the next memorable thing I would say is that after everything was done, and then the professor said, okay, I have one thing to say. Brother Khairul, you have set the benchmark and it's going to be hard for other people to top you. And that was also another memorable moment for my proposal defense.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Right.
Mashallah. So 1 hour of grilling session, I mean, like, is it normal actually?
My
Is
friends,
it
you have actually
normal?
done the proposal defense in 20 minutes, in 30 minutes. It depends on your examiners, but I got an examiner who was really passionate about my topic. And
I see,
yeah, and
I
he
see.
himself was he has written a lot of papers on CFR.
I see.
So
You're talking to the
he knew
expert.
it. Yeah. Sorry.
He's like, perhaps he's the expert in your area as well, isn't it?
Yes, yes, definitely. But the only thing is that he's the expert, but he's also an assessment expert. So that did not concur with my research because I'm not doing assessment. I'm doing language planning and policy. So you see, there was a bit of
Clashing.
yeah, a bit of a clash of ideas. He wanted to get his ideas across, and I wanted to get my ideas across. But in the end, we settled for okay. We'll look at what's the best that we could do. Yeah, so it's good, you know, to have the sessions like it's I would say a very good academic discourse where you're sharing your thoughts with your examiners. Yeah, there are two examiners, one internal, one external, and with you yourself also. Yeah, so it was nice. Was nice. So I would say that was the memorable moment where I thought that I was going to fail my proposal defense, but in the end, the result was just a minor correction, which I completed in probably about 2 weeks only. It was really minor. Yeah.
Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Congratulations. I mean, like, we are so proud of you. I mean, listening to it is so inspiring. Like, I think others are feeling the same sentiment as well. And I want to know, is it like a moot court? When you said that the result was out, is it like you're waiting in the certain room, like waiting for the result, or they just announce it online, or like how is it like announced to you?
They will just announce it. Like, for instance, you know, they'll ask the examiners, okay, for the internal examiner, do you have anything to say? And the internal examiner will say something or give his or her last comments. And then they will ask the external examiner. External examiner will also give his or her last words. All right, okay. And then the PG office was like, okay. And then that's what he said. Congratulations, Madhukar, you have passed with minor corrections. Yeah.
I see, I see. So you have to wait for like a day after that, like for the instant.
Immediately. It was
Immediately.
It was announced immediately.
MashaAllah. Congratulations. Love that. Yeah. And that was a very intense 1 hour. Maybe you spend like 1 hour and 30 minutes in the session. How was it for you? Thanks, Dr. Khairul, for that. And how was it for you, Mr. Izzuddin? What makes it more? I mean, when the first you mentioned that you received the notification like few days before the date itself, that is the first challenge that you have to overcome. What went through your mind? What makes it memorable to you? And share with us the journey that made it like really impactful to you.
Okay, from my defense, it was I received the notification. I received the call from the office 2 days before actually. So I received the call on Wednesday, and they told me that first they asked me how's your master and how's your progress? So I said like, I've submitted my proposal. I'm just waiting for my dates. So she was like, here, I'm going to tell you about the dates. You are going to defense it on Friday. So I was like, oh, which Friday? Is it next Friday or another 2 weeks Friday? No, this Friday at 3:45. And at that moment, I was stuck because at that time I was at the stadium. That week, the whole week, I was very busy. Uh, I, I, I brought my students to the stadium for the MSSD, for the olahraga and so on. And at that time, I was with my students. They saw my face turns blue, and immediately I opened my phone. I received a chat from my friends. Is, macam mana ni Is? Hari Jumaat ni Is. I called her. My students saw me walking around somewhere, and I was sitting under the tent. I was thinking, that was on Wednesday. On Thursday, still I need to bring my students to the stadium, and my defense is on Friday. So I rush. I'm going back. I said to the teachers, I have to go back. And I go back home and took my proposal. And there for 2 days on Wednesday and Thursday, the teachers, the students, everyone saw me. Whenever I have to settle down the students, I settle down the students. When they were running, they were jumping at the field, I'm reading back my proposal. And before this, I submitted my proposal actually before I started become a teacher. I am a new teacher, the one-off batch. I started to teach here in Alopongsu on in March. Okay, and I submitted my proposal before that on about
February.
In February, about 18th February somehow. And then I was thinking, how am I going to survive with full-time job and study? And for the time since March until now, before this, I just doing my teaching. I didn't do anything about my research because everything is finished already. I submitted my proposal and we just waiting for the dates. Then I received the call 2 days. So I was reading, my students saw me, cikgu buat apa? Cikgu belajar ke? Cikgu study ke? Then everyone knows that I'm doing master there. And I didn't have much time, to be honest. I had to take a leave on Friday. I told the principal that I have to take a leave. I'm doing slides and so on. And it was very rushed. The points from Dr. Khairul just now, I had a little laugh just now. So he said that a day before his defense, he went out with his friend, and I settled everything at 3:30. My defense was at 3:45.
3:45.
I finished at 3:30, and then
Mashallah.
I started to think, what am I going to wear? I didn't even eat yet. Macam mana ni? Can I survive this? Can I pass this? Everything comes to my mind, and I was very panicked. And you asked about the memorable things that happened during my defense. The defense
that was memorable before the defense itself.
Yeah, there are something more memorable. The date of the defense was on 29th of July. That was my birthday.
Oh, what a great gift.
Before the defense, the thing comes to my head is, this is the worst birthday ever. Why I have to defend my proposal on my birthday? But then, right after I finished my defense, right after the 15 minutes, Prof. Ainul said, I like your topic so much. And I was like, this is a birthday gift.
Mashallah.
And another birthday. Yeah, and at the end, they told me immediately right after this about the result. Congratulations, Izzuddin. you've passed with minor changes.
MashaAllah.
And I was,
You could be so proud of yourself.
yeah, Alhamdulillah. It was
Survive that.
very short time. And before that, I didn't know much things about proposal defense. So I was quite about doing it like the degrees presentation, but I've read some how, do and don'ts and so on. But like Dr. Khairul say also, when you ask if there are any limits for pages and so on, and the first thing the examiner asked me, how many pages do you have? So I say exclude the references, I have 32. And she said, you have 15 minutes only. Please manage it. So I was so afraid of it. And to be honest, some of parts in my proposal, I still struggle to understand it. My research paradigm, I still struggle to understand what my paradigm is. But there was like, I have 15 minutes. So I focus more on my questions, research objective, and so on. And I just touch a bit of my paradigm. So I just like, it's like reading and so something like that. Yeah.
I think what I can get from both of your sharing is that both of you macam Dr. Khairul, may I know how long was it the period were you given before you get the date to actually prepare for your proposal?
I was informed of the date about a week or so before, no, about 2 weeks before the proposal defense. It was by my supervisor. Yeah, she informed me that, oh, they have gotten the date already, but the official email from the university came in like 4 or 5 days before the proposal defense. So mine was quite okay compared to where it is, yeah, which was, he was actually given like 3 days before he actually found out. So that can be quite challenging. Yeah.
2 days.
2 days. Yeah. 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I see. So, but from what I have understood from your sharing is that both of you, I mean, despite that, you have shown us that you really have to understand your topic. You know what you're delivering. I mean, that's the key word. I mean, despite the PowerPoint presentation, whatever that you have prepared, it have to come from your heart and soul, isn't it? So I think, even though Mr. Is said that he don't have much prepared, but I think because he have dealing with it is the longest time of his life, it's like instantly just come out like that. So he has prepared for long enough, and then I know that even, and you also kind of like share. It's not like not presenting, not just like reading presentation, like you are share. So it adds more to their make them be convinced with your topic. So yeah, it was very well prepared. Congratulations for that, and thank you for sharing it. And it comes to the next question is that the question during the Mr. Is during the Q&A session, how long does it take? Like Dr. Khairul, he was given like he spent like 1 hour having the Q&A session.
It took around 30 to 40 minutes.
Oh, it's more similar to that. Question. Do you remember any of the question, like kind of like make you stand, or you're like, you know, feel like, oh, like you still remember about that, like?
Yeah, the examiner asked me like why did I plan to do the mixed method. So I told my idea. So I want to look at the effectiveness of using it. But then when I answer it, they comment, they reply Alhamdulillah nicely, and it was like, what if you do this, and this, and so on. And the comments that I receive that make me shocked is that yeah, there was in the literature review, there's a point. The point is quite powerful actually about visual literacy. Yeah, but the point I took from the research paper in the year of 1996. So yeah, before this, my supervisor told me that we have to do at least the recent 5 years. But I think that, oh, this is a powerful point. Why not? And So then he just he asked me, okay, turn to this page, look at that name, in bracket 1996. This is actually the 6th edition. Now it is the 12th edition, 2019. So you have to dig more. So I was like, oh my. Until that particular thing, the examiner could see. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just my advice, if you for you are hearing this, if you found some powerful point, powerful view from the, try to look more, dig more. Don't be like me. I thought that was the latest one.
I see. I see. So that's interesting because I mean, you never know that they will go to that depth in actually digging your extension of your writing. So that's a very good point there. Thank you. Thank you for sharing it. Okay, moving on to the next one. We are now 9:36. I love the comment here saying that Nur Huda said that it's very, very interesting sharing. Thank you so much. I enjoy myself as well because we have like two different worlds, from the PhD and the master, and then you both of you have like very contrasting experience, so you make it a lot colorful. So, and yeah, moving on to the last question. So before I'm going to have my last question here, and after that you can post your questions, and we're going to have Q&A. The last one, what are the most common mistakes and misconceptions about proposal defense that many students make? For you, Dr. Khairul.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Now, number one, the misconception is I'm going to pass my proposal defense. Yeah, all right. Pass my proposal. That's a misconception. Yeah, of course, everyone's going to pass. Yeah? There are cases where people pass with no corrections at all. Yeah, but there are also instances where you get major or you have to resubmit. Yeah, so do not think that, you know, of course it's for you to motivate yourself. I'm going to pass this, but do not it's embedded in your mind. It's not wrong, but I'm trying to say is that do not be overconfident that what you're doing is all correct already, that it's not going to be a problem. Okay, that's one misconception. Yeah, where you think that everything's perfect already. Yeah, but trust me, when you do a proposal defense, it's very rare that people will not give any comments. Yeah, that's the first misconception. Number two, the second misconception is to say that the proposal defense is just a proposal defense. You're told, no, it's not. It's the first journey towards your academic endeavor. Yeah. So for the PhD level, the proposal defense is actually the starting point of your research. All right. So what happens during the proposal defense will be used to amend or to betterify your proposal for you to actually conduct a better research. So take that as a learning point, a learning stage of the academic journey. Okay. All right. Yeah. Another misconception is that you will go something like it's the examiner, even if you know the examiner, especially internal examiners, if you even know the internal examiners, you think like, he's just going to be very okay with me, he's going to lay low. No, don't think that. Yeah, if they're examiners, so they just can say anything they want, they can do anything, they can suggest anything, they can make any comments. So even if your examiner is your friend, don't think that that everything would be smooth sailing. Yeah. All right. What I would say is the mistake, yeah, of proposal defense is not preparing enough. Yeah, that would be the most grave mistake. Yeah. Now, I submitted my proposal in January. Was the last day of the class. Yeah, it was the last day of the class. I think it was like January 25th or something. So I submitted my proposal about the 26th of January to the university. And my proposal defense was in April the 2nd. Yeah, so I had like 3 months. Yeah. After I submitted my proposal, yeah, on the 26th, that evening I started to work on my proposal defense slides already. Yeah. So I prepared it like in 3 months in advance. I prepared for my proposal defense. I even had a mock proposal defense with my supervisor. All right. I revised it many times, of course. Yeah. It took me a month to complete those 32 slides for the proposal defense. It's a lot of things. Of course, you keep on revising. Yeah. Once you read on, you keep on revising things. You want to add things, want to take things out. So the original slides were about 45 slides. Yeah. But of course, like I said just now, they were all just points. Yeah. So some slides were just like, oh, okay, this is what I've done. This is just how it looks like. So that was just it, yeah. But then again, we trimmed the slides to become like 32 slides only. My proposal was 150 pages, yeah, 157 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, that was the proposal, and everything had to be compressed in 20 minutes. So, you know, if you are going to extract all the information from your proposal to present to the examiner, it's best that you do it as soon as possible. Yeah. Of course, yeah, I was on study leave, so I was not working like Brother Ace, yeah, so I had all the time in the world. So after I submitted my proposal to the university, I immediately worked on the slides for the proposal defense. So
wow,
yeah, for the PhD level, you have to remember that you have to be extremely ready, yeah, for you to face the proposal defense. It's like what Brother E said just now, yeah, you know, your examiners will find small little minute details, yeah, and ask and pick on you on that, yeah. All right. I didn't get any what do you call that, comments about using obsolete references, yeah. But for CFR, yeah, for those who are familiar with CFR, you know that there is actually the latest version, yeah, which was in 2020, and you do have people talking about CFR 2001, yeah, which is bad, yeah. If you're going to be doing on CFR and you're like, oh, okay, according to the Council of Europe in 2001, it shows that you're not prepared. Sedangkan CFR has come up with 3 different versions: 2001, 2018, and the latest is 2020. Can so I made sure that, you know, I made sure that things like that were actually addressed. But I had the time. I had the time to really prepare for my proposal defense. So so it was good. But then again, yeah, even though if I had, you know, I had like 3 months to prepare it, I prepared it well in advance. The proposal defense was still an hour. So there's just things that you don't know what's going to happen. You know, you really don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what turn it's going to take, or like what brother what was his name just now, brother Amirullah said just now, yeah, when you go astray, how do you make sure that you do not go astray? Is that you have to prepare. You know, I actually know my proposal defense by heart. I know what was going to come next, yeah, and because I prepared for it so well, I didn't go astray, because I knew what I was going to talk about. Yeah, I knew what I was going to talk about. I was very focused. I did not want to waste the time, and I did not want to waste any. I didn't want to be there much longer. 1 hour was probably one of the longest hours in my life, apart from the Viva. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's probably the mistakes and the misconceptions about the proposal defense. Do not take the proposal defense lightly. It's the start of your academic journey. It's the start of your research. All right. If you take your proposal defense lightly, if you think it's just proposal, Japan, right? And then that's what you're going to get. Yeah, you're going to get from the examiners. Yeah, you're going to get a mouthful from the examiners. Okay, so always remember, yeah, proposal defense is something that you should be very serious about. Okay. All right, because to me, the proposal defense is more complex, complicated, and more difficult than writing the actual thesis. Yeah. Okay, so it took me like October, November, December, January, 4 months to write the proposal, and only took me 3 months to write the thesis. The full thesis was just in 3 months. Yeah, but the
3 months. Wow.
Yeah, of course. With you have all the data already. Then you have collected the data. You have analyzed everything. It was just writing. It was just writing in 3 months, and I've completed everything. Yeah, everything was done. I was very focused. Yeah. So it all comes down to the proposal defense. If your proposal defense is very it has direction, all right. If your proposal defense has got its substance, all right, and then you're going to be on the right track. So please, yeah, do not take the proposal very lightly. Yeah, it's probably, I would say, one of the most important documents in your academic journey. All right.
Thank you. That is very intriguing and insightful, because I think some of us, like maybe for master student, we thought like, oh, it's a guaranteed pass, perhaps, but it's not. It's a lot. And what is your take about this one, Mr. Izzuddin? The most misconception about proposal defense, I mean, in your eye as a master student.
Firstly, don't expect proposal defense like the normal presentation of your degree. It's very different. Yeah, I started to feel the difference during the defense. So the vibe is totally different from the presentation. So as I said, don't do silly things, don't do silly funny things explaining about your research. No, because the examiner were very serious about your topic. Then don't do the next step yet. Okay, after you finish your proposal, you submitted your proposal, you are waiting for the defense, don't do the next step yet, because you don't know the comments that you are going to get. As for example, let's say Dr. Khairul, Dr. Khairul finished his thesis in 3 months. I've waited for my defense for 5 months. Let's say I started to collect my data, I started to analyze anything, then I get this comment, why are you doing mixed method? You should do only qualitative. So it is a waste of time. So don't go to the next step. And during the presentation, the mistake is don't pretend that you know everything. It is very dangerous. Like what we said, the term kepala tau. Don't be that guy. So if you don't know, be honest. If you know, you explain. And try to explain it when the examiner asks you, explain it based on your literature review. So that's the function of your literature review. You've done your reading, you've done everything, you come up with the point. That point is the reason why are you doing this. And during the defense, when you are presenting it, make sure everything is aligned from this point to this point to this point to this point. From chapter 1 to chapter 3, everything is connected. Yeah, it's not like research question is research question, research objective is objective, method is method. Question goes to the objective goes to the significance goes to the literature review or the reading stuff, yada, and goes to the method one by one. Okay. And to start your defense, don't feel that you are natural enough to present it. Even though you are a good speaker, you can talk very well, you can goreng. We use the term goreng to goreng lah, to tell about your don't be very prepared. In my case, I have to goreng a bit because I don't have much time to prepare. And I love to do before the defense, I do mock defense. And I would love to suggest to everyone, do mock defense. Find anyone, tell them about your topic, tell them about what you've been proposed. Then they will ask you question. Ask them to ask you question. Then because I've read somewhere in the Google, they said that you have to prepare with the possible question that might be asked to you. But if you are thinking by yourself, that means that like you are confident, you can answer everything. Before this, I do mock teaching with my friends Ashidika and Nasrin. They ask me question, I ask them, we ask each other's topic, and I also do mock defense with Dr. Hazika. And I can still remember, she asked me a question. She asked me, then I answer it. After finish my answer, she looked at me, she said, you are not answering my question. I was like, I silent for a bit, then I answer it again with different answer that I thought it is answering, and still she said is not answering my question. Then I diam, I was in silent. Then I asked her, so how should I answer this? And she said, is engkau tak boleh jawab, apa yang kau buat tu salah. So then I know where's the mistake. Before this, during my writing, I think everything is okay. But then after people comment to me, then I know where the mistake is. So like I told, you are not expert in your topic yet. And your topic, and other people might know this topic by their what? Apa nak cakap ni, macam terfikir lah, what they think of. It might not be very intellectual, like what you read, what you write, you search somewhere, but it gives you idea. So I think that's some a bit from my answer.
Sharing.
Yeah, my sharing. Okay.
Thank you so much. I mean, both of you have this point stated mock. You did your mock defense session. Your lecturers, your friends were lecturers. I think that was the biggest preparation you have made. I think even I was like, oh, that's a cool stuff. I mean, that's a cool thing to do. I mean, you try have a mock session with someone who are actually expert, even your lecturer or your friends who are like a lecturer who can read your topic and kind of like bombard you with questions. So mentally you are like have been training yourself for this one. So thank you for the suggestion. Okay. Is there anything that you want to add, Dr. Khairul?
Yeah, I do want to say something. I'm very happy, Brother E said it just now, about your literature review here. Now, for PhD students, you're going to be critiqued the most about your methodology, okay? It's not going to be your literature review. Of course, your problem statement, if you don't have a problem statement, that's going to be the most critical part. But if your problem statement is aligned to your research question, research objectives, the other next important part that will be critiqued, heavily is your methodology. Now, my advice, to all those defending, if you have prepared your proposal, okay, and then you'll just have to prepare it, okay, prepare yourself. But for those of you who are still in the preparation stage, make sure that you follow the methodology. So your methodology is supported by previous research, okay? All right, so what I'm saying is that it's not during the defense, they're gonna your examiner is going to say, no, I don't like you doing it this way, but then you can support or you can defend yourself by saying, but this is supported by many literature who has actually done the same thing. All right, and then if you can support yourself, you can justify yourself, then you'll be clear. So it's very important for you to have your literature updated, and also everything that you do justified is also backed by literature. Remember, it's not your, it's if you're going to say this is how I feel that I'm going to do it, it's your word, it's your word against the world. When actually someone has done the research already and has actually come up with a different methodology, and you're going to change that, that's going to be a bit of a problem, of course. Research is about exploring something which is very new, or you're trying to find the answer to a question. But at the same time, you also have to remember that you're replicating what others have done also. So if you're going to come up with something new, all right, if it does not have enough substance, you're going to be in big trouble during the proposal defense. So my advice, to all the PhD students out there is that when you do your methodology, when you're going to explain your methodology, make sure that your methodology is heavily backed by research. Okay, everything you do is backed by research. And that is a key to having a very successful proposal defense.
Thank you for the input. I mean, just now you said that you take 3 months to actually prepare for your proposal. 4 months, am I right?
Yes, 4 months.
And then 3 months for writing the thesis, meaning that you have finished your PhD in less than a year. Am I right? If I do the calculation right, is it like 9 months of writing?
I finished my PhD in 18 months.
18 months was
the day I
amazing.
registered in October 2020, and I had my Viva in May 2022. Yeah, so it was
You're gonna have an
about 18 months. Yeah, I finished my PhD in 18 months, but I was very focused. Yeah, Tika. I mean, different people have
wow.
different journeys, right? Different people have different difficulties. I'm on study leave, so I've got nothing better to do. All right, so
You're full time, right?
yeah, I'm doing it full time. I'm doing my research full time. So what I do is I pop into the office. I even wear my office clothes when I go to the office to make sure that, you know, Khairul, you're actually working. This is not just an academic journey. So I go to the office at 8 o'clock. I start work. I go back home at 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. So I treated my PhD as my work also. I do not treat it as something which is in addition to the other academic duties that I have. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why I actually finished it in 18 months. And the other thing is that I was very focused, and I knew what I had to do, and I had enough backing from resources. So that's probably another problem. I think someone said that just now. How are you supposed to do your proposal if you don't have enough resources? Now that's going to be very challenging. If you don't have enough resources, then you're going to find it a bit difficult, yeah, to complete a proposal. There are many ways of how you can get resources, yeah, but you know, that's another session, yeah. But what I'm trying to say,
that's another session for
yeah,
us.
that's another session, yeah. So for the proposal defense, yeah, for me to finish everything, I had everything. I had the resources, and then I had the pandemic, yeah.
The
Alhamdulillah.
determination.
The COVID happened, yeah. So my data collection, everything was done online. So it was fantastic. I did 20 interviews within 3 weeks. Yeah, but of course, yeah, I scheduled everything. This morning, okay, I have one interview with this person, in the afternoon one interview, and probably in the evening one interview. And so you have to really treat that as a job. And my participants were also very very cooperative, and were also supportive. Yeah, so that's why I believe, yeah, it's probably a mix. You know, for you to ace your proposal defense is a mixture of how well you prepare it and what you have prepared, right? And also the support from your friends, and of course this is recipe from Allah also. Okay.
Alhamdulillah. I think we're going to have another session with you talking about your journey in the postgraduate study. We actually have planned that, isn't it? But inshallah, we'll have another separate session for for us to talk more about it. But what I can get from both of you is that you never do it alone. Like Is and Dr. Khairul, you have mentioned that you have reached out to people, to the significant people, the lecturers, the friends. You ask everyone. You have said that you're putting yourself as a role as a researcher, like completely. You really wear the title. You really wear the cap. I mean, I'm amazed at how the line you've gone to actually prepare the proposal defense. You do the mock trial. You reach out to the lecturers, and it's so inspiring. Like, I think not everyone has this realization to actually go to this. In that, some people they do this solo, like on their own, in their or they do not know how to reach out. So meaning when you have this being said that, oh, we can reach this those people out, just simply ask. Like, yes, you said you ask, and that's really powerful. You ask, and then help comes in, and that's a very beautiful thing, because everyone is like helping you out once you reach out to people. So thank you for that.
Dr. Khairul, if you can share with us in just a very short moment, what are some of the softwares or application that you use, because you are doing full quali, right? I think maybe that would really help us, especially when you mentioned you did interview, of course, the transcribing. How do you actually analyze? Do you use NVivo, Atlas AI? What about your citation techniques? Are you using EndNotes or Mendeley? Maybe Capsa can have another session to help us, we can get some knowledge from Dr. Khairul's experience. 18 months is no joke, yeah, no joke. That is actually an accomplishment for a PhD. 18 months.
Yeah, and, like goosebumps, like that's so proud of you. Actually, Madam Naza, actually I approached him actually. Like, I really want to have a one-to-one session, full session in his postgraduate study. We have it on the way actually, isn't it, Dr. Khairul, in September, inshallah. Yeah, so hopefully we like you and I, we and others, I think we really want to know that as well. The sharing and the one that you have said. And with that question, I'm actually officially opening the Q&A session and to all everyone in this session. You can simply type the question and the Khairul can answer her question on that the application that you use.
Okay. All right. Thank you once again, yes, Sister Azza, for the question. Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, I cannot stress enough of using the software or tools that is available. Please use them. Yeah, they're free except for Atlas TI lah. But Mendeley is free. Yeah. Now, what I did, what I used, yeah, the softwares, the two softwares that I used, yeah, for my study. Number one, I used Mendeley. I relied on Mendeley, yeah, for the citations and whatnot, yeah. But for my literature review, okay, for my literature review and for my qualitative analysis, I used Atlas TI. Atlas TI is easier to use in comparison to NVivo. Okay, all right. I've experienced both already, and I think that Atlas TI is a bit more comfortable, all right, in using it in comparison to NVivo. But for you there working on your proposal, when you read your literature, immediately start using Atlas TI. And this is why I told Atika the same thing I told her. Do not read your literature and make small notes, or do not use Mendeley to make your literature review. Of course, it's possible, but you have other powerful software, yeah, like Atlas TI. Make full use of it. It's a bit expensive, but for us students, we can get it at a discounted price of I think about 460 ringgit for 2 years. Yeah, a 2-year license. Yeah, okay, right. Sister Azza, she's got a lifetime license. Yeah. Of Atlas TI. So make full use of that. Yeah, from day one of your academic journey, use Atlas TI, all right, for your literature review and for your qualitative analysis, because it's so easy. It makes your life so much easier. Using Atlas TI, I managed to analyze my data in about 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks of coding. Yeah, you're just sitting in front of the computer and just coding and coding and coding and coding and coding. It took 2 weeks. Yeah, so I used that. Now for the interviews, yeah, everything was done on Google Meet. Okay, it was done on Google Meet. How do I transcribe it? Number one, I tried transcribing it myself first, yeah, but I did not have the patience to transcribe it myself. And then if you use a transcriber, all right, a transcriber, like for instance, an AI transcriber, it's not very accurate. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for a PhD, for a master study. Yeah. So what I did was that I actually transcribed one by myself to get the gist of the field of the research, and everything else I actually paid someone for the transcribing. Yeah, I actually paid one of my students to do the transcribing. Yeah, and she does it very, very well. So you see how I made use of the time while she's transcribing the first interview. All right, I'm going on with the second interview already. All right, so once I'm with the third interview, she's transcribing the second interview, and it kept on coming to me. Once I received the transcription, I started coding. So that's the usage of the software. Yeah. So Azza, thank you very much for the question. I think it's a very important question, because I want to stress once again, of course, not everyone is IT savvy, but try to make yourself try to upskill yourself by trying to use these available software, because it's going to make your life so much easier as a researcher. All right.
Thank you. How about you, Mr. Izzuddin? Is there any specific software that you want to stress enough in actually making like our writing manageable? How do you manage all your resources, and what's your take on this?
So far I'm just using Mendeley. I've joined a webinar about Atlas TI, but actually I don't really understand how to use it. So perhaps we can have Dr. Khairul again to do a webinar on Atlas TI.
Yeah, because he taught me a lot actually about Atlas TI. So maybe we can use Atlas TI. I mean, in the research, perhaps, inshallah, with Dr. Khairul's guide. So you're using Mendeley, but how about your mean, thank goodness you're very high savvy with the PowerPoint presentation, the slides and everything. But some might be like very not really good at you know at doing the PowerPoint presentation. So if they are not very well enough with the technology, I mean, other than slide school, what are the advice that you guys, is there any tips for them to make sure at least they make sure the slides or the font that you're using is not like too, you know, it's not too distracting for the defense presentation? Do you have any advice for that as someone who actually visual you know, PowerPoint effectively?
What I can say, the very important thing that I always have this kind of eyesore when I'm looking at some of the PowerPoints made by someone, the classmate and so on. The main thing I think is the color and font. If it could be very plain without any pictures, without any icon, but just we have to make sure the font and the color. So if you don't know what color are you gonna use, you can just Google color palette. You Google color palette. They will give you like maybe a set of 5 colors, these colors, and sometimes I think everyone experienced looking at slides, PowerPoint that you couldn't read. Like the background is white and the font is yellow. And also they're using some too stylish font. Yeah, make it very simple, readable, and presentable. If you have to bold something, yeah, I very like to bold and change different color to like different points. In a sentence, you just highlight with different font that pops that words out. So people can know it.
So thank you. And there's a question in the chat box which was answered by Dr. Khairul. Dr. Khairul, might I know when did you defend your proposal? Was it the first year semester too? So yes, it was answered. It was the second semester. And may I know if there any other question from the floor, from the participants? I think we have like very thorough, very detailed sharing. Whatever that I've asked you, perhaps something, those are actually those answered your question instantly. I think that's a very good wrap. Before we end the session, like, is there any last words to everyone here who are actually joining us, who can join us virtually, who, you know, might be having this video afterwards? So what's your final say, your final advice to everyone in here? Can we have Mr. Izzuddin first to everyone? What's your advice, your final say?
My advice, not only for the defense, but throughout the post-grad journey. Yeah, I was told before by my lecturers, by Arwah Dr. Rose and so on, is that you need to know that you are not going to the field with butterfly and rainbows. It's going to be tsunami and storm. Yeah, and you need to prepare. And post-grad journey is very lonely. It's a lonely journey, though you have friends. Like thank God, the biggest blessing in my post-grad journey is I have my friends. Here we have Nasrin Firuza and also Ashidika. We are doing our research together, but somehow we have different topics. So like before this, in January, I was sitting alone in UIA. I'm sitting in my room. I'm doing proposal, and I didn't meet anyone for 2 to 3 weeks, and I was at, I can say, the bottom part of my life until I've met someone. If it's so you don't have the friends that doing postgrad with you, find someone. And I love to ask my friends, hey, rasanya kalau benda ni jadi macam ni, apa hang fikir make it like a conversation. So they will give you some of their idea and so on. Don't make it too lonely. It might breaks you.
Yeah, it's an individual journey and it shouldn't be a lonely one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for the last one. I think friends and support are super important, as you said. So that is something that we would have to remember dearly. And what about you, Dr. Khairul? What's your last words, like that? Your advice, your final say for everyone in this session?
Okay. I would say for those of you who are pursuing your postgraduate journey, if you're pursuing your masters, you will get your masters in the end. Okay. If you're pursuing your PhD, you will be a doctor in the end. Yeah. Do not give up. Okay. It's not a walk in the park. Yeah. Everyone's going to have their own challenges. Everyone's going to have their own obstacles. Yeah, everyone's going to have that. It's very rare that you will come up with no problems at all. Of course, I managed to finish my studies in 18 months, but it wasn't a smooth journey. Yeah, it wasn't smooth. It was very challenging. Yeah, it was extremely challenging. Yeah. Also, what Brother E said just now, which I agree, is that a lot of people say that your journey is a lonely journey. I made sure that my journey was not a lonely journey. Yeah. I made time for people. So for instance, when it's like what I said, I treated my PhD as my job. So I went to the office at 8 o'clock and I came back home about 9 p.m. And then when I went back home, it was Netflix until like 11 or 12 p.m. 12 a.m. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, I watch Netflix. Yeah. Or during the weekends, yeah, I did things that I like to do, or things that you like to. You just keep on doing what you want to do. Do not use the excuse, yeah, of your postgraduate journey as probably a stop to doing the things that you love doing. Okay, because that's going to make the journey harder. All right. Okay. So in the end, yeah, good luck to everyone. Okay. For those defending your proposal, all the best. Okay. Now remember, the examiners are there to make your research better. There's no mala fide. There's no ill will. They're not there to ensure that you will find a news on Shopee and hang yourself. Bukan. They're there to give you the comments so that your research will become better than what you think it's good already. Okay. All right. So take it with an open heart. Do not be defensive. Jangan menjawab. Okay. Jawab soalan, but jangan menjawab. There's a difference there. Yeah. Okay.
I love that.
Yes. As a lecturer also, I get very edgy if my students menjawab. Yeah, there's a difference, yeah, between jawab and menjawab. Okay, so remember that. Yeah, the examiners feel the same way. If you feel strongly about something, be very polite and professional about it. Okay. All right. So good. Yeah. All the best, everybody.
All right, thank you. Awesome. We do have actually another question in the chat box. Hang on a second. Let me read it. It's quite long. From Miss Noraini Hamzah. Assalamualaikum Doktor. Izinkan saya bertanya, apa yang terbaik untuk dilakukan apabila proposal writing dah hantar untuk defense? Dalam tempoh menunggu tarikh, baca dan semak balik, ada perubahan yang perlu dibuat. Contohnya dalam problem statement. Boleh ke waktu defense representation tu, kita amend benda baru dalam problem statement? Atau ada pendekatan lain yang lebih sesuai dari pandangan doktor? Terima kasih.
Alright, ya. Ini siapa ya? Sister Noraini Hamzah ya. Okay, waalaikumsalam. Thank you for the question. Now, soalan tu bagus. Alright. Sebab what happened masa proposal defense saya, ada benda baru yang saya tunjuk. Oh my god, can I do this in English?
Sure.
I'll code switch. Okay. So sister, apa yang berlaku masa proposal defense tu, masa tempoh menunggu untuk proposal defense tu, okay, it was not the problem statement, tetapi ada benda yang saya tambah untuk methodology. Okay, memang ada, memang benda ni berlaku and it's possible. Okay, tapi how did I do it? Ya, masa proposal defense tu saya kata okay, ini original proposal saya kata this is apa yang saya akan buat, tetapi saya dah baca literature mengatakan bahawa sepatutnya kena buat macam ni. Jadi saya dah amend proposal saya dan saya dah masukkan benda ni dalam saya punya methodology. And then examiner kata, okay, bagus. Dia pun nampak benda yang sama. Dia kata dia baru nak suggest. Tapi bila saya dah buat, dia kata okay, tak ada masalah. Tapi dia akan masukkan juga dalam report kita sebab report kita tu adalah based on kita punya actual proposal yang kita hantar tu. But it's not wrong. You can do that, sister. Kita tambah apa yang kita perlu, tapi masa proposal defense tu kena ada dua. Satu yang original, apa yang kita buat sebenarnya, problem statement tu, apa original problem statement. Lepas tu kita cakap, okay, selepas masa tempoh menunggu tu, there was a change of circumstance. Saya ada jumpa benda baru. So problem statement saya adalah macam ini. Dan inilah problem statement yang saya akan bentangkan pada proposal defense ni. Boleh buat macam tu, tak ada masalah. Alright? No problem.
Alright, thank you. Awesome. Alhamdulillah. Oh, another one from Atira. Assalamualaikum Dr. Khairul. Boleh saya tanya? Selepas defense proposal berjaya, does it mean our thesis on the right track? And is it possible gagal waktu Viva? I'm totally new in this area. Thanks.
Okay, lepas proposal defense means our thesis is on the right track. Yeah, betul. Okay, once you have finished your proposal defense, maksudnya your thesis is on the right track. Of course, provided that you have made the revisions which have been suggested daripada examiners. Okay, so bila kita dah buat, maksudnya kalau dia dah bagi kita cadangan, dia dah cakap okay, cadangan saya untuk perbaiki your proposal kena tambah ABC. Bila kita buat penambahan tu, then you're on the right track already. Supervisor dah kata go, and then you can conduct your research. Right, so you're on the right track. Now, about Viva, you will only fail the Viva kalau kita short sendiri. Okay, so maksudnya jarang orang fail Viva kalau dia ikut proposal defense dia, ikut proposal dia, atau dia keep a very close relationship dengan supervisor. Okay, so that's also the important thing about your supervisor. Now, you will only fail your Viva, alright, if you do things based on what you think you want to do. Itu akan fail Viva. Okay, maksudnya tak pergi jumpa supervisor. Supervisor kata, engkau kena buat macam ni, no, this is my research. Ini aku punya research, aku nak buat sekali aku lah. When you do that, you will fail your Viva. Tetapi, right, if you follow apa yang dah dibincangkan masa proposal defense, and then you keep a very close relationship dengan your supervisor, insyaAllah ya, you will not fail your Viva. So jarang orang fail Viva. You will only fail your Viva kalau kita tak berpandukan dengan apa yang telah dicadangkan oleh external, internal dengan supervisor kita. Maksudnya kita nak buat ikut cara kita sendiri, and then kita akan fail Viva. Right? And banyak kes yang saya dengar, semua ya, all the cases that I heard of those who fail the Viva is because dia ikut cara dia sendiri, tak nak buat cara yang telah dicadangkan. Okay, so always keep a very close relationship with your supervisors. Also, lagi satu, kalau kita rasa macam doubt, ya, kita dubious of our proposal, okay, if you do have the contact of your internal and external supervisor, get in touch with them. Kata, okay, saya dah buat ni, of course kita dah bincang dengan supervisor kita jumpa dengan external dan internal juga. Kita kata, okay, saya dah buat macam ni, tapi saya stuck lah. Saya tak sure macam mana saya nak teruskan saya proposal sebab doktor kata saya kena buat macam ni, tapi bila saya buat macam ni, berubah pula semuanya. Tak ada masalah juga. Okay, alright.
Okay, good, cool. Thank you so much. Very good insight, and thank you for the question. Barakallah. Okay, before we end the session, it's already 10:20. We are like 20 minutes. We are adding to the session. Can we all turn on the camera so that we can like take pictures and for memorable experience, for our memory? Can we have like you guys turn on the camera? Our member CAPSA is here. Actually, rather Izzuddin is our former CAPSA members. He's as he said just now, and we have he has helped us a lot, and we keep in touch with organizing the program like this, the academic programs, all this because of the discussion that we have, the sharing. So thank you for that. Okay, let's have everyone. So our team will be taking the pictures. Okay, is everyone ready? Okay. All right. Okay, one. Sahih, are you going to do that? Okay, so Sister Soya, I'll do the counting and you will take the pictures, huh? All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. All right, okay, freestyle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right, thank you so much, guys. Before we end the session, actually, I want to I want to share with you our upcoming program. We have several episodes for this session. The upcoming webinar will be what makes it a meaningful proposal. So will be conducted by the associate our very own senior lecturers, Dr. Faiza binti Idrus, and it will be commence on like on Monday, 22nd August, 11 a.m. to 12:30. I will share with you all the participants here will get the notification on the invitation and the poster for this one. And also the next one after that, follow up after this second episode, we're going to have the third episode with Dr. Azani. He will be sharing with us on how to write problem statement, a topic on that. Details of the webinar will be sent to your email as well. So those who actually have submitted their registration will automatically get all the invitation. And thank you so much, everyone, for tonight. It's so good to have everyone in here. And I will send all the recording to your email, inshallah, instantaneously, hopefully in 2 days. And hopefully we can continue supporting one another in actually making everyone has a meaningful, fruitful, and inshallah making us a better person, a better educator, whatever that we do in our career at the end of the postgraduate study. So with that, I thank you again, Dr. Khairul. Thank you again, Izzuddin, despite your teaching. He's super busy with the teaching and stuff, and I'm really, really happy that both of you said yes. And we truly extremely blessed to have both beautiful souls with us. And with that, it's the end of the session. We end the session with Tasbih Kifarah and Satul As. And Assalamualaikum. That's all for today. I'm Sister Atika. Assalamualaikum and have a good night. Bye. Thank you, everyone.